All right, guys, good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to join me today and every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the YouTube channel. Appreciate you as always. Bottom right-hand corner of your screen, little white logo. Click on that. Turn notifications, subscribe to our channel. Make sure to hit that like button. Thanks again, as always. Okay, let's get started. Long weekend over. Hope everyone had a great Memorial Day weekend. I know I did. Real Madrid won the Champions League. Sorry, Kevin, who's right next to me. He's a Barca fan. It was a great game against Liverpool. Congratulations to Real Madrid. I've actually been to the Bernabeu. It's an amazing stadium. Anyone who's a huge soccer fan, that should be on everyone's bucket list in the future. Great place to visit. You'll love it. Spain is absolutely beautiful. Great soccer fans. You'll love it. All right, let's talk about markets. Dow futures down 209 points. Remember, on Monday, futures were open, and we were still kind of letting you guys know how everything was going. So make sure to follow us on Twitter for the updates. So key. Instagram as well. If you're here, you're pretty much from Instagram for the most part. NASDAQ futures down 0.31%. We did hit green for a bit, but we're going to take a look at the charts here. S&P futures down 0.63%, 41.29, and the Russell's down 0.64% at 1873. Friday was a big short squeeze day. We talked about that on the note. I did not trade much that Friday, and I didn't want to hold anything over the weekend, just for the simple fact that I think we're going to retest some levels. We're going to go over those levels here in a second. Again, this kind of pullback on futures is actually pretty healthy. Again, you fill a lot of gaps, a lot of imbalances. You get a short-term short squeeze. We see if we get a retest, and then we can reload. That's what we want to do. Take a look at crude. Crude is heading higher on those EU headlines. I posted that on Twitter as well regarding the Russia oil import ban, up 3.11%, 118.66 currently. Gasoline futures 2.26% to the upside, not $4. $4. That was the resistance that we had before. Remember? Gold down 0.30%, 18.51 an ounce. Silver down 1.54%, 21.75 an ounce. Let's take a look at Forex. Euro dollar down about 92 pips, 106.87. Dollar yen is up. The dollar is up today, 100 pips on dollar yen, 0.79% to the upside. Let's take a look at yields. The yields are key. We talked about yields. I posted that chart on Instagram. I posted that on Twitter. You need to be watching fixed income. Very, very key. So Treasury yields right now, 2.851%. They are up. And the dollar index, this is why the stock market is down slightly, or futures, it's because of the dollar. Now, the dollar is up 0.83% at 102.16. The VIX is trading, or it's an index at 27.89. That's up 5%, as we know the VIX correlation to SPY. Let's go and bring up the dollar index. I want to go and see that. Very, very key. Remember, we had the inverse head and shoulders. We had key support that we were looking for, which was right here, 101.27, right at the 50-day. So it bounced right up the 50-day on the daily. So do we get continuance? If we do, where we're going to go? More than likely, we're probably going to get to around 102.43. I need the dollar to come down a little bit if I want to go ahead and go long on calls. Remember, we know the dollar correlation. Any kind of larger company, multinational, they do business overseas. They get paid in their local currency over there, and then they have to go ahead and bring that money back and convert it into stronger dollars, which makes the currency weak. The weaker currency kind of get that kind of slippage in terms of effects. That costs companies a lot of money. That hurts EPS valuations. Stronger dollar, if you listen to the conference calls beforehand, the stronger dollar is a big deal. That is what we call a headwind, meaning some kind of barrier or headwind. If you're a boater, all that wind coming to your face, it does stop you, right? So again, the dollar's becoming a little bit of a headwind here. Let's wait for 102.43. If that can reject, that'd be great. If we can reject this 200-day on the 1 hour, that'd be nice as well. Let's take a look at the VIX and see if we have any gaps to fill. And we do. Again, this is how you get the screen time, guys. Fill those gaps. So right now we do have a gap to fill right at 26. Let's go ahead and put that in yellow. That's really right at your 20-day moving average. And we have one more. We have another gap to fill to the downside. Let's take a look at it right here. You guys can see it. Right around 25.80, 26.82 for the VIX. So again, I expect us to retest S&P. We'll take a look at that. I expect the VIX to drop, meaning the S&P will go higher. I expect to drop a little further. So I do expect a little bit more of an uptick. I don't think that we are at a point where that's all. No, I think we still have a little higher to go. 42.52 is a key level for me to break. 41.01 for support. If we can get in tap 41.01, remember that was the previous resistance. If we can get there, I think we bounce. I would like to buy calls, but I would wait for that level, 41.01, to go there. So we'll just go ahead and wait on that. Let's take a look at crude oil futures. Again, continuing to soar. We know a lot of geopolitical issues. We know that the Ukraine-Russia conflict is weighing on oil and or actually helping oil, or a tailwind. You can see now it's starting to get trekking to 120.96, which if we did the Fibonacci based on the most recent spike, you see right here, 120.96 is resistance. Let's see if we can go ahead and get to that level before anything else happens. But yeah, for the short time being, energy is still the name of the game. Energy is still the way to play the market here for value. And these energy companies are cheap. But again, the only reason I haven't bought energy, remember, I was long energy since last July with XOP. The reason I sold it is because you get these big news events and then you always get a reversion to the mean. You go back to the previous level moving averages. So I think oil's gotten to the point that it's just getting away from us. It's spiking. It's going to come back down. And I'll wait for that pullback to buy some energy. Let's answer some questions. Matia's asking, good morning, boss. SPY levels to watch for this week. Do you think the markets will continue to bounce? I do. Again, I just think we're going to go ahead and retest back to 41.01 on SPY. So are on the S&P futures. That's right around 410.54. Let's go ahead and place an alert there. We may get a little lower than that. That'll put us right here at 409.75 is your 50. So again, more than likely, we'll probably test that. We'll bounce. I think that's a good level to go by. And why do I think we bounce? The volatility index has a couple of gaps to fill. That's one. Dollar index is near resistance. That's another. So those are the two things that I'm looking at in terms of price action for the S&P in a macro sense. Taking a look at yields. Breaking out of this downward trend, kind of like the S&P. Interesting. These are yields. Let's see if we can get back down and fill this gap here. So we got another gap. You know what to do. You fill the lines. So we could see the gap between 1 point and 2 points. Usually over the evening or something like that, you get imbalance of liquidity, buyers and sellers, so you get gap levels. That happens all the time with earnings. So that's always something to look at. But I do think we're going to continue to bounce a little more. Morning, Carlos. Thoughts on Apple this week? Actually, Qs are outperforming the S&P. We did a relative charts on Bloomberg. I'll show you the Bloomberg here in a second. I just got the Bloomberg set up. So again, that's going to help everybody. That's going to help our Discord. It's going to help our Twitter. It's going to help our Instagram. If you guys have noticed, I posted more Bloomberg content. So again, that is something that I bought for the company. I'm definitely want to go all in and help you guys. I think the Bloomberg's the way to go. I'll turn it on here in a second. But you could see here on Apple, we do have 150. 150 is a tough nut to crack. Let's get above 150 first and see if we can continue higher. This gap was finally filled, so that's good. So I have an alert at 150.41. That'll get us there, John, and see if we can get to the upside. If we do, I do like us to get to at least 155. That'd be a good target. I wouldn't go as high as 157. That's resistance. 155 calls, 152.5 calls aren't a bad idea. And keep in mind, short week, only 4 days. Thoughts on Chinese stocks for this week? I've been watching BABA. I think BABA with the Chinese being opening up, Shanghai is reopening up. We do have a gap to fill to the downside on BABA. So be careful. The good news, that's it. You only have the downside gap. So again, we could fill that. I wouldn't be surprised if we pull back and get to around 94.44 or so. Let me cancel this alert here because that's already broken. So you could see that. But if we kind of stretch it out here on the daily, let's put a couple lines here. Let's go with here. Not the best line here, but pretty close. Not the best, I know. It kind of goes to the point where, well, it's not the best looking. But you could see a couple of tests of that trend line to the downside. If we can break above 97, well, if we can sustain that, let's see if we can sustain, let's get to 98. If we get to 98, I do like BABA long. I like BABA to go long here. There is a small gap to fill as well at 110, a small one, but we can get there. You can see it if I zoom in here, right at 110 level. So that's a really good target. If you're looking for BABA, Maybe you want to buy some time on this trade. Maybe you want to do the 110s, get in and out. I like BABA here if we can get above 98. I know we're at 97 ask right now, but 98 would confirm above this 50-day, the yellow line here. That's your 50-day moving average on the daily. But you can see Alibaba here. Nice downward trend. I can even extend it to the left. And it kind of cuts off a little bit. But again, you can see it's kind of the same. If I go ahead and actually remove it, and we can actually do the correct downtrend. Let's see if we can do that here. We'll start from the top point, kind of match the candles, right? It's not going to be perfect on this one. So that's the only thing I don't like. So we can kind of do that, kind of breaks out, kind of breaks in. You can kind of go by the 10 points. It isn't perfect if we do this, but that's as close as we're going to get in terms of a trend line. I know I have tons of alerts. Let me cancel all these guys. Make life easy. We don't need all these alerts here, especially when we're all the way down here. Let's go and cancel. I got 125, cancel, and there you go. So you see that nice yellow downtrend. Here's your gap fill. So again, I can change this to whatever you want. So if you prefer a trend line to be dotted or straight, you can always change that on TOS. But again, let's get to 98.16. I like BABA here more than any other stock in terms of the Chinese companies. SPXL, let's take a look at that. I'm assuming that's the triple leveraged ETF for SPY. Looking at the daily here, would I want to go ahead and buy SPXL here? No. Would I want to trade it? Sure. You could trade it and actually target 100. That's your target. Trade it, sure, if you can hold it. But again, 3x leverage, a lot more risk. Crypto market, we're going to go over that in a second. I didn't go over that. Bitcoin was up 10% today, 24 hours, 31,765. Ethereum, 1974. Taking a look at Bitcoin futures. I talked about this on Instagram and Twitter. I talked about if we do not sustain 30,000, which we broke, we did not sustain 30,000. I expected us to roll over to 20K. But that doesn't seem to be the case here. Now, this is futures, not the actual spot. So I'll go to the Bloomberg and show you here in a second. Tesla, let's take a look at Tesla together. Tesla had a hell of a day, was definitely the high beta mover. Where can Tesla go? We're starting to get a little bit of resistance here. So be careful. Let's get above 787. If we can get above 787, you have clear skies to 826. So I'd wait for that 787 mark first. What do you make of the GDP numbers released last week? I expected them to be negative already. So really what I'm looking for is the next quarter and see where we go. No question. Just want to thank you for all you do. Thank you, David. Appreciate that. Very sweet of you to say. Let's go ahead and bring up the Bloomy. We'll go to page 1 and you can see a ton of stuff, right? So let's go ahead and bring up Bitcoin. I'm going to go to XBT. XBT. See, XBT USD currency cross. We're going to go to a charts and technicals. We're going to go to a candle chart. Hope everyone can see this. Okay, great. All right, got a couple of moving averages here, 50, 100, 200, basic stuff, as we know. So again, this is how the Bloomberg looks. This is what 20 grand a year gets you. Obviously, it's more than that. I'm just kidding. Let's go ahead and bring this up to a 5-year on the daily. And that'll be a lot easier. So let's start putting some lines on the screen and go from there. We're going to go to annotate. And here's some of the levels I was looking at. Really right here, this point right there. That's right around 19,000. That was the peak of 2017. Then we had the flush to 3,000, if you guys remember that. 30,000 is a key level, guys. Let's go ahead and put that line. I'll make it in red just to make things pop. Hope you guys can see it red and white. Good. So you can see that we're above 30,000. As long as we sustain above 30,000, that's the key. Any next level that we need is 40,000. 40,000 would really show that we got a leg up on crypto. The only issue with Bitcoin was the Luna situation. I believe that created a mass liquidation event. I had some Luna, man. I had $1,000 worth of Luna. It doubled to 2,000. I never sold, and it came back down and it went to zero. But again, how many people that own Bitcoin also had Luna, and they had to sell their Bitcoin in order to prop up their portfolio or raise cash, what have you. And I think that's what the situation here. I think that Luna was one of those black swan events. I don't think it's a Lehman event, obviously, but in a crypto sense, it was. That created a mass liquidation event, as we saw. We went pretty quickly from 40 to 30. I mean, not that quickly, but again, we went from around, I think we were hovering around 35, and we got to around 28. Sustained, buyers defended those levels. We got above 30, but again, if you stay above 30, we're fine. If you break below 30 and you sustain below it, you're going to 20 next based on this chart on the 5-year. That's what I would expect. Is that the end of the world? No, 20,000 is where I definitely want to buy. You're just retesting the old levels, the old high in 2017. Let's go. Thanks for your insight, brother. Any earnings that you're looking at this week? CRM. CRM does report. That's Salesforce.com. We'll take a look at that. Not trading it ahead of time, but a lot of people tell me, what do you think about this cloud company or that cloud company? Cloud companies are getting very, very, very saturated. There's a lot of them. For regarding cloud companies, I say keep it simple. Microsoft, Amazon, the two biggest. You also have CRM, which is fine. They're good. Yeah, that's a great company too. Snowflake is just too expensive. CRM, I haven't looked at CRM yet. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Bloomberg quote on CRM. This is Salesforce.com. We'll go to US equity, and here I'll get all I need to know. All right, we'll take a look at CRM trading PE multiple of around, wow, the actual PE multiple is 325. That can't be. Wow, 325. That is way ridiculously expensive for this current rate environment. So I'm not saying that Salesforce is bad, but we can see why they're down 35%. Again, a company can be fine. We talked about this with a Lamborghini. Again, you know a Lamborghini is great or a Ferrari is great. You know the value of it personally. But what you're valuing may not be the same to someone else who wants to buy. You may think your house is absolutely stunning and should be worth 200,000 more than appraised value. It's going to sell at appraised value, if that. It's an example. But CRM being a great company, I do like Mark Benioff and this company. Obviously, they're doing okay. They actually had a great day recently. We know they do work together with tech. But the main thing I want to see is that P ratio go down. That's at $325. The estimate in 2023 is 35. That's what the base is on. It's basic what I have here. This will update that PE after the earnings report. So again, we'll take a look after market close, what CRM does, and I'll retweet. Why is Bito up 10% while Bitcoin is down 1%? Bitcoin is not down today. It is not down 1%. And thank you. AJ says, like the video. Appreciate that. Thanks. So that's where we are currently. I don't know what Beto is, so I apologize. But this is the Bloomberg. I have it all here. So all the stuff in regards to the market, any kind of headlines, I'm going to go and retweet it to you guys, all the important stuff, and we'll go from there. What do you think about Tilray long term? Seems like it's screaming by at these levels. Let's take a look at Tilray just on a sense of fundamentals and valuation, which is so important. Let's take a look at it. It's trading at a 10 multiple. I hope that's right. Let me see if I can look that up on, let's see here. Tilray does not have a PE, so that's not right because they're not profitable. So they do have nice revenue. I'm looking at their numbers quickly. Revenue up 22%, net income 115. Operating income is down. Diluted EPS is 9 cents. So they did beat on EPS nearly 200%, but they missed on revenue. I'm not against Tilray. I'm not against cannabis stocks. I just think it's best that you guys have a index fund with so you can kind of level off the volatility of one single stock. Instead of having just CGC or Tilray, you can have an ETF of all the cannabis stocks. And that'll kind of diversify your view of cannabis because not all of them are going to last. Not all of them are going to do great things. Maybe one is going to be a home run and two are going to be not going to be great. So I think, an ETF in the cannabis space would probably be better off than just going on buying some Tilray here. to be honest with you. Year to date, it's down 35%. As we know, these are expensive companies. Growth companies are not something that people want to buy. Again, Tilray may be a great company, but right now the valuation is no one wants to buy it. And at the end of the day, guys, we all want to buy something so we can sell it at a better price. That's all it is. MOSOS ETF, GameStop reporting this week. Oh boy. Oh, that's going to be fun. Definitely keep an eye on that, on those earnings. But we're kind of rounding off. I put the information on Instagram. You take a look at the PE ratios, why they are important, and when we had earnings this last quarter. Take a look at that. It was on Instagram. I posted a chart. I hope you guys enjoy it. Guys, it's very important to know what you're buying. Again, it's all about valuation. When interest rates rise, and the actual velocity of money or even the money supply goes down, be more scarce, people are going to be very careful what they're buying. Understand that. So again, valuation, what you pay for things matters. Understand that. So again, there's a lot of value out there. You just got to look. We'll go and leave it there, guys. Have a great rest of your morning. I will catch you guys for the aftermarket recap. Cheers.